Hello, Robots in Disguise fans, and welcome to another episode of the AFTERBUZZ TV Robots in Disguise After Show. We are covering episode 12, Decepticon Island Part 1. We have two very special guests with us, and we'll see you after the opening.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
I will never regret naming Steeljaw this. Never. Absolute favorite thing that we've done, with the possible exception of Uncle PJ. Favorite thing we've done.
Who might be watching live today? Just
yes.
Even though he wasn't in the episode.
Hi, Uncle PJ.
I love you. I miss you.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the after show. We're doing the first half of the season finale, and holy cow, it's insane. I have with me, as always, Alexis the Wrecker Torres.
And I'm on a record at ATorres890.
Emma the Speedster Fyffe.
Hello, you can find me all over the internet at my name, Emma Fyffe.
Megan Lord Megantron Salinas.
Hey guys, you can tweet at me at the Menguin. That's ThemenGuin.
And I am Katie Kia Prime Cullen. You can find me on Twitter at Kiaxet. That's Kiaxet. As promised, we have two very special guests with us today. We have producer Adam Beechen.
Yay!
And animation producer Therese Trujillo. Whom we have trying to get in the studio for a year and a half.
It's true. For any of you guys who don't know, Therese has been absolutely amazing to us here on the show. Like, the reason that we've had 98% of the people we've had in studio is because of Therese.
She's an amazing human being.
Yeah, so basically, like, she is the goddess of the show.
She is.
So you should all tweet her and thank her.
Yeah.
Well, and not to mention that if it wasn't for these two, we would not have a show to
That is
review.
true.
Yeah, no kidding.
That is 100% true.
So thank you both so much.
Yay!
And thanks for coming on today.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
So, what did we think of this episode?
Holy spark plugs, I'm so excited!
I can't vouch for either of you guys because we all kind of watched it separately, but when Ratchet showed up, the noises I made were not human. I think our neighbors thought we were dying.
I
You're raising
actually,
your hand.
like, I don't know why I'm doing that. I'm tired. Yes, Alexis in the back of the class. Speaking of, I was actually in the booth engineering as the episode was going, and I literally squealed so hard that people actually just heard me all over AFTERBUZZ, and they all came running, going, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Sorry."
So
my
there's
favorite character just came back.
just like a phantom Alexis squeal in the background of like the general hospital.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what happened. James was just like, is Alexis dead? Is she dead? Do we have to figure out how the show goes? I don't know what to do.
Still in airing, we're good, let's go.
Put it on the wide as I go scream into a bag. I don't know.
Things I should have mentioned when we started. We have the live chat up.
Yeah.
Because she's awesome. Yeah. We also have our hashtag ABTVRID. If you have fun things to say, if you have questions for our guests, throw them in there. You may well get a shout out.
Please.
Emma, you were saying.
I was saying, that as Kiki Stubbs has now referred to him, Grandma Ratchet shows up. I definitely, because we knew Ratchet was coming back, or we were pretty sure Ratchet was coming back because
had a
there
toy.
was a toy of him.
Katie made that very clear.
Yes. But it was just so much delight.
It's one thing to speculate a character is coming back and to hope and wish that they're coming back, and it's a completely different thing to actually have them back, voiced by the same actor, like in the RID character design. And Ratchet had always been my favorite from Prime.
Right.
Yes. So like to have this carryover, he's one of the ones I actually have a toy for. That's how much I like this character. So yeah, to have him brought over, not in the way that we expected. No. This was a very unexpected entrance for him. So I liked it.
Yeah, I did too. And I felt it was very justified. And A++ continues with my theory that everyone gets a minicon this season because he has a minicon with him. Now, Adam, I would like to ask you, was that an intentional choice that you conveyed to all of the writers that this was going to be the season of minicons? Because it really is.
Oh, it was conveyed to us. Actually, yeah. We made a very conscious effort to get minicons into this season and show what they could do.
Nice.
I think the theme of this season, one of the themes was Mini is Mighty.
Oh.
So we had a lot of minicon on the brain.
Katie, you need to make a shirt. That's awesome. Minnie is mighty. I will wear it all the time. No,
I made a shirt. I'm wearing it.
I know. I was trying to segue into you talking about our shirts. Make that a t-shirt and give it to Roger and Mitchell. They will appreciate that.
I feel like Mitchell would definitely wear that like all the time.
I have a friend who has a mini pincher. I'm just gonna find that shirt and make a dog version of it. It'll just be Minnie is Mighty. So from an animation standpoint, it can't, like, we've noticed for a lot of the characters like Bee and like Optimus, when you bring them over from Prime, some adjustments have to be made to sort of fit this new animation style. When
They
you
lose
guys,
their noses.
When you guys brought Ratchet over, what was kind of the intent? Like, okay, how are we going to change him up to fit the RID style?
I'm not sure what kind of discussions were had among the animators about that. I know that they wanted to bring him in line with sort of the gentler sort of feel of all the characters, and I think they did an amazing job.
Yeah, I totally
Still
agree.
recognizable as Ratchet,
100%.
but at the same time completely fitting what the model is for our show.
Yeah.
Yeah, he looks adorable.
He's cuddly. It's weird.
He does. And getting Jeffrey Combs back
Yes.
makes everything 100% better. So. And he was fantastic. He's really great to work with.
Yeah.
So we might as well dig into the episode while we're on the subject. We have Ratchet showing up within the first minute.
Yep.
Which, hallelujah, thank you for not leaving us in the dark for the whole episode.
I was going to say, I also really liked the decision with this episode to start with everyone's back together.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, we didn't see them get back together. It was just it was a natural progression out of what had happened in the previous couple of episodes where we knew that it was imminent. And rather than being like, hey guys, we made it back, here's when we all are reunited, it just started right in the middle of the action and everyone was back together again.
Oh, yeah.
And they just refer to the fact that they were reunited. So I liked that.
And it was great because this opener basically set the foundation for everybody's sort of B and C plots throughout the entire episode. There was Grim, like calling everybody teamy, and there was
I am so
Strong Arm
happy.
and Flintstoning it on the freeway. I was like, what's happening?
I'm sorry, my favorite interaction in this whole episode, and this was a great episode overall, but my favorite interaction was when Sideswipe was bragging to Strong Arm about how he and Windblade were such a good team within a team now, and she's like, yeah, whatever. And so and Grim's reaction is, oh man, team within a team, that sounds awesome. Hey Drift, you want to be a team within a team with me? And he just goes, no.
He already has his team within a team. He's always had his team within a team. He is set.
As soon as he said no, I was
Grim,
like,
you
oh,
are
Katie.
Grim, you are not set to raise children.
It's okay. Oh, let's be real. It's okay. I will be TVs with you, Grim.
I know.
Always and forever. Yeah.
And I love that we had, Strong Arm and Windblade. It's like, I've wanted this whole season. Sign me up.
Passed the Bechdel test in the first 30 seconds. So happy.
Aim to please.
Yes.
Well done, sir. Well done, sir.
And the relationship between the two of them throughout this entire episode, I really enjoyed. You know, because it kept circling back to Windblade being like, I have these ideas of some things we could do together, Strong Arm. And then when Windblade explains her plan to sneak, not really sneak, but just kind of walk onto Decepticon Island, that Strong Arm's like, it sounds totally crazy. I think I like it.
Well, I love that this was not what I was expecting. I
totally.
expected, since everybody had been separated, that those were the team dynamics that were going to work, and that the old ones were going to be a little rusty, and that maybe there was even going to be some friction going back together. And instead, we have these two who have been apart, who haven't really had the chance to bond. They're like, now's our chance to bond, and it's Bee and Optimus of all people who are experiencing that friction.
But I rather have that dynamic though, because I feel like because of the fact that they were in these roles for so long, that it's just a little hard to adjust. But it was kind of weird for me to watch them kind of like, I don't know what I want to do
like
right
mom
now.
and dad are fighting.
Awkward. And I kind of liked that they brought up, we had this conversation, and then this is occurring, and I don't know why.
Yeah.
And Optimus just very calmly avoiding the conversation with Ratchet, like, and we'll talk about it later. These should work. I'm going to talk to someone else. And Ratchet just being like, oh God. I've been here for 10 minutes, and it's the same stuff over and over
It's
again.
really weird to see Optimus intentionally avoid a
Problem or a confrontation. Usually he can just kind of do it, and this time I was like, I don't know how I feel.
Maybe it's because Ratchet is like disappointed. Disappointed Ratchet is something he's like, I can't make eye contact.
Well, and Optimus knows that he is backing out from what he said he would do. Like, no, this is Bee's team. I'm going to respect that. And now he's like, actually, it's like when your parent says, no, you're an adult, go live on your own, but when are you going to move back home?
That's
Kind of.
You better believe I get that question from
When are you
all
gonna
the time.
more specifically, it's when are you going to take responsibility? Oh, you're doing it wrong.
Yes.
Let me.
And I feel like everyone who's moved out of their parents' house and now gets are you sure you're doing this? Have you tried this? Well, what about, like, oh my God, all the time. It's like, I know you mean well. I know you want me to succeed. I can handle it.
Also, happy Mother's Day to everybody.
I was gonna say this got real quick.
But also,
the older audience can definitely relate. Did anyone else?
I think we just blew out the microphone.
Oh my God, we blew something.
I was like, I lost hearing in one ear.
I certainly did too.
Are we okay?
But I did like the fact that we had Grandma Ratchet come back at a Mother's Day weekend. So that was kind of interesting. I was like,
well, he certainly hasn't been knitting all this time while he's been away. He's been a busy bee too.
Yes, having one-sided conversations with his mini.
oh,
Yes.
I didn't even think about that. That makes me so sad.
I am very fond of Undertone in the 3.5 minutes that we had of him. Like, I like this. I like that he's a surgical assistant. I thought that was a brilliant design choice.
Yeah.
And I want to see him actually do something in this next episode.
He probably will.
I'm sure he will.
Yeah.
Sure he will.
Yeah.
Now, with Undertone, was it an intentional choice to make him not speak, or might we see him speak in the future?
Just because he hasn't spoken
Doesn't mean he
he
can't.
doesn't speak.
Right.
There are such a thing as the strong silent type.
That is true, which is exactly.
Doesn't mean the vocal cords have been removed.
Yeah.
We know Ratchet can't fix that.
We went back to watching Prime last week. Just like, we need something to put on. Let's put on Prime. Oh God, this is painful.
Every time.
I've forgotten how much this hurts.
We had gotten so used to like the fun, lighthearted nature of our ID that going back to Prime was like.
How do you think I feel?
I got so used to Bee talking.
I just watched Rescue Bots all over again and then watched Prime. Not a good idea. It should have been the other way around. I don't know what I was doing. I was just like, oh, this is so cute.
No, you
and
watched
fun.
Rescue Bots to recover from watching Prime.
I was showing my boyfriend Rescue Bots and he's like, oh, I want to watch Prime. I'm like, sure. Oh God.
Right, we
The
start an
horror.
episode with the death of a main character.
I mean,
that's great.
That's great.
Especially if you start showing it to someone from the very beginning.
Every time. It's just tears.
Oh man.
Tears and fear.
Yeah.
It makes you really appreciate the like. Hey, can we go back to the not as intense stuff? Or
And that
just
again, I
imagine-
think, was something that this episode pulled off incredibly well, which was that even though ultimately, yes, it was a serious episode, obviously we end up in a very sort of dire position, surrounded by Decepticons. But the humor in this episode was so on point, and it just kept like coming in at those moments when you really needed it.
Can we talk about Toolbox a little bit? That Toolbox broke my heart. He's in
Well, we weren't suspicious of it.
I was very
I was
suspicious of him
so
from the
suspicious.
I watched too much Blind Spot. They introduce a character, obviously they're going to be evil.
Yep.
It works on Blind Spot. I'm
Yeah.
trained. And so it's like, oh, we have another mini-con. Oh, he's so cute.
What
oh,
is
he's
your
so
motive?
abused. And I thought he was going to throw him under the bus. He hasn't. I'm pointedly not looking at our guest because I'm sure they're like,
Yeah.
one more episode to go. Can't
I
say
mean, you
anything.
guys have really good poker faces.
really do.
Thank you.
I feel like we should have given you popcorn before you came in the studio so you could just eat that and watch us go crazy.
That's kind of what we're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's working out okay so far.
I didn't realize when Fix-It is talking to Toolbox, he's like, and he said, what did he say?
Flow chart.
Yeah.
Schematic.
I thought it was like, oh, all the same like technical stuff I know. Not that there were other mini-cons.
Yeah, they're Microsoft programs.
Yeah.
You're trained on the same OS that I'm trained.
Yeah. Got their upgrades at the same time.
That's what I wonder.
so
Why
funny.
doesn't Toolbox fix it? Because we had
There
we had this whole big thing last season about trying to fix it and how that didn't go very well because no one really knew how to do it.
Right.
We have another mini-con that is potentially able to do this. We need
No time.
He rather
No time.
just
Opens
parts
parts,
of
yeah.
it.
No time right now.
Yeah.
There's absolutely
Yeah,
no
there's
time.
definitely not time right now, and it's just so much more entertaining to hear Mitchell have a conversation with himself and hit himself upside the head.
Oh, that was beautiful. I was like, I can do that all day.
I was gonna say that must have been a treat for him when he got the script of like, oh goody.
I have to wonder if he did one and then the other, or if he just went straight through. Like, do you guys know?
What did he do?
I think he went straight through, if I remember right.
I can totally
You
see
know,
him doing that.
Roger, I know Roger has said before, Roger goes back and forth.
Between the two.
Yeah.
He does.
In
He
a
absolutely does.
flash. So my guess is that Mitchell felt
It's
challenged.
pretty astounding. It's pretty astounding to watch. It
Yeah.
really is.
Yeah.
And he does different hand gestures for different characters.
Right, of
So
course.
he's doing this and he's doing this, and then it's changing up. We poke fun at him for it. Right? He's a good sport.
I was gonna say, if you guys
Exactly.
ever take video recording of any of these recording sessions, that would
DVD
be
extras.
I would love
That
to
would be
watch a
stupendous.
round table. Oh my God, sign me up.
I want to see these hand gestures in real time.
Yeah,
Oh,
we
it's
have
great.
Toolbox, who is a fix-it style mini-con. I swear to God, we're going to recap this episode. It's going to happen.
Well, it's you're not alone.
In between gushing.
Because Night Chick also felt the same way. She's like, okay, I'm glad I wasn't the only one who was suspicious. Because it was just kind of weird. The timing was kind of weird.
Oh, I was totally suspicious of him too.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
I think I'm still sort of suspicious of him, quite honestly.
Yes, but it was some other mini-con whose name we don't know who was like, oh, you came back?
Well, because I mean, we've seen all of them with the inhibitor collars before, but in our defense, the last time we saw a swarm of fix-its, it was terrifying.
kill a guy.
It was terrifying.
yeah, no, thank you.
And so, like, to see this one get away from, like, again, get away, quote unquote.
Yeah.
It's like, that's awfully convenient that you got that lucky.
But I feel like he and Ratchet both kind of had a function as exposition bot because Ratchet gave us info about Cybertron. And on one hand, it's really good to be vindicated, and on the other hand, I am so angry.
At Cybertron.
By the
For
way, we
real.
blame Optimus Prime for everything, and we're trying to forget him. And yeah, there's a reason those statues are in disrepair. We just don't care.
Yeah.
Well, and that brings up a lot of questions. If somebody like Ratchet, who, even though like he's obviously a member of Optimus's team, but
Right.
he's not exactly the most confrontational character either. If he got sent out on what was probably meant to be a death mission, like you, the medic, go out and like hunt down Decepticons because that's the most useful thing you could be doing.
Yeah, totally.
But either way, Cybertron wins. If he dies, oh well, he's out of our hair. If he succeeds in his mission, heck yeah, he's hunting down war criminals. There is no downside.
Well, and it's just makes you wonder, like, what's happened to Ultra Magnus? What's happened to somebody who was somebody like Smokescreen who was already kind of insubordinate? It's like, ooh, that
what
probably
happened
not
to
great.
Bulkhead?
Yeah,
What happened
that's
to
what-
Art? I loved him understanding Grimlock's explanation of the situation. I'm like, well, of course he understands it. He speaks record.
Yeah, could we have Grimlock just summarize everything from now?
It would be an interesting patch of dialogue. It would really test our, what is it, onomatopoeia skills? Yeah.
I think Kari would be up to the challenge.
Oh,
Kari
more than
definitely.
that.
Recaps by Grimlock. I'm down. I need a miniseries. I need a miniseries
the-
of Ratchet the Bounty Hunter.
That's amazing.
I need all of it.
All the previously ons will be done by Grimlock.
Grimlock,
Yeah.
that would be incredible. I mean,
Can we have like cartoon drawings as well? Cartoon crayon drawings. That's what I mean.
Grimlock did.
Yeah. And I want
Sitting
him
on
on my
armchair
fridge.
with a
Gold star.
velvet
Oh yeah, with the rope
jacket
and the pipe.
with this pipe.
Yeah.
Guys, these are my dreams. You don't even understand.
Story
Watch
time
that
with
TV
Grimlock.
program.
Yeah,
I would
that'd be
absolutely
great.
watch that.
So,
Great.
fan
Story
artists
time.
out there, please give us like Grimlock in a most interesting man in the world suit, or in like
Yes.
the rope and the pipe. And
For story time with
But it has to be a
Grimlock,
bubble
yeah.
pipe, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bubble
It
pipe.
has to be little bubbles coming
Has
out.
to be kid friendly.
Yeah,
of course.
yes.
Completely.
And
Just
then-
story time with Grimlock.
And then
I
kid
want it.
drawings, like with crayons, for the animatics to retell the episodes.
Figures and
Yeah.
So,
everything.
dear fan artists, if you are up to a challenge, that's what we want with our lives. That's it. That's
If I had
beautiful.
anything to offer you, I would offer you that as compensation. But instead,
Yeah.
I just have my love.
our
You would win my
laughter.
love. Anyway,
So much of our love.
anyway.
Episode recaps by Grimlock, but yeah, Cybertron has. We're going full Hamilton here. You have no control who lives, who dies, who tells your story.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the people who are telling it right now are bureaucrats.
Yeah.
That's a
Go
nice.
with that.
That's a nice word. That's one
This
word.
is a kid's show.
We
Got
can't
very
say
political all of a sudden.
I know.
Wow.
Bureaucrats. Like, oh, you mean the reason we had this war in the first place? They're back in power and control. Great, great.
Yeah.
Progress. Progress on
Progress.
Cybertron.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the thing, though, is from a writing standpoint, I really appreciate that choice.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because in some ways it is sort of, I feel like you can sort of justify why people would try to paint that picture, because this is the thing, it's like you go to war and yes, you are a big war hero, for example, Optimus Prime, but realistically, all people are going to see is war. War is bad. Like, no matter, nobody really wins.
So
nobody won that war.
Yeah.
They tarnish Optimus's memory, and Megatron is still out there having some little zen hike in the wilderness. Megatron is still a player in all of this.
Yeah.
He's still alive somewhere. We think.
Wouldn't that be a twist if he's like, you know what, I'm done with the war thing. I'm just going to manipulate things House of Cards style.
Gonna show up and pick up Steeljaw and be like, are you serious? Really? Really? He is the Starscream of your... And none of you... Really? Okay.
Yeah. Now, what I sort of wonder with Steeljaw is, because obviously he has Decepticon hunters.
Yes.
And Glowstrike and
Saberhorn.
subservient to him.
Yeah, but that's my
little bow and scrape.
But that was my
weird
thing is, but I'm still, again, just like I'm still sort of suspicious of Toolbox. I'm like, are they really subservient to him?
Oh no! I'm waiting for them to grab him by the tail and stay out.
Yeah. I was gonna say, don't mess with Grey Delisle.
Oh,
she's
great.
Grey Griffin now.
Yeah.
But don't mess with her.
She's the best.
And the thing is, we really haven't seen a lot of Glowstrike. We haven't seen her in action. We got a good chunk of Scorponok, and we know what Hungry Like the Wolf can do. We haven't seen Glowstrike do anything. And if it does turn out that this is like, well, he's taken over, okay, that I think will be the biggest disappointment of the season.
I feel like this is a Jaws situation where like what you don't see is scarier than what you do see.
I see what you mean.
And so like if you think about the film Jaws, you don't actually see the shark until like the last 20 minutes of the movie.
That's because the shark was
Well,
blind.
listen, but it was
But it worked.
But it worked, and that's why the film has endured to this day, is because if they had done all the stuff with the mechanical shark they'd been planning on doing, it would have ended up looking hokey now. But because
Like Jaws 3.
yeah, but
Let's not talk about that.
yeah, well, that's when they finally were like, maybe we shouldn't film in the actual ocean. But anyway, so I feel like that's kind of what we, and it's a technique that Hitchcock used all the time as well. So I feel like for me, Glowstrike has really been built up in my mind of there must be some reason why she's the one in charge.
But here's the thing. Jaws had a kill count.
Sure.
Like, we saw people getting killed on screen,
Fair,
even
totally
if we
fair.
didn't see the shark.
Right.
We haven't seen Glowstrike do anything. We saw Scorponok get taken out, but we also saw Scorponok in action, and that was terrifying.
True. That was
we
really
haven't
scary.
seen
What-
Glowstrike do anything, even if it was just pull someone under the water.
No, like to your guys, like seeing Scorponok, this incarnation of Scorponok, we can't like talk about how much we really appreciate it enough, because in previous incarnations, and we've talked about this before, but in previous incarnations, he was kind of used for more comedic effect.
He was a big dumb bruiser.
Yeah, and so this was a really, really good. I really appreciated your guys' choice with Scorponok this season.
Thanks. We try to make all of our bad guys legitimately bad.
Yeah.
And legitimately scary in their own way, even if they have comedic undertones.
Sure.
Not undertone.
Not that undertone.
Not that undertone.
But it's a tricky balance between the
Yeah.
comedy and the villainy of it all.
Sure,
And
sure.
you want to try and strike that as much as possible while still making the viewer as tense as you want them to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was actually gonna say what Allie said in the chat, where it said we don't actually see Saberhorn and Glowstrike fight with Steeljaw after he got the con hunters. It could have been bloody because we don't really know what happened.
Yeah.
besides the fact that they,
that's fair.
yeah. So
Well,
I don't know.
would you challenge somebody who has two Decepticon hunters?
Probably not.
Oh no, you'd wait and you'd plunge one of them in his back at some point.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So,
But again, we've seen what
That would be so
Steeljaw
funny.
can do
True.
in spades.
Yeah.
We haven't seen Glowstrike in action yet, and that is what I'm stuck on. We have all this implication we're building up. We haven't seen any of it.
I'm waiting for him. I think it'd be so funny if in the next episode, like, he's giving this big monologue and just Glowstrike just walks up behind him and just takes him out, like,
You
in
were
the middle
talking
of a
too long.
speech.
The Lannisters send their regards.
I will. I'm not looking at you guys, but I will die if that's.
Yeah, that's really good. Say what? And we also have exposition on the Alchemore.
Yes.
It's lost, you guys. This is the tail end of the plane.
Yeah.
There's not going to be a smoke monster in season 3, is there?
Oh, jeez.
What? Smoke is really hard to animate.
Yeah,
I think at this
that's
point
fair,
we're
that's
just
fair.
confirming that there's a season 3. We've done enough of the mystical season 2 stuff. Just be like, there's got to be a season 3. We're just going to sit back and be like, yep.
Yeah.
I'm putting my eggs in that basket.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Anyway, Alchemore. Oh, so we get I love that they call it Decepticon Island, because in my mind that's like, it's the island of misfit Decepticons.
Yeah, a little bit.
Well, island, and I know that's not what we're
to be fair, it kind of is the island of misfit Decepticons.
Yeah, it is. But it is, we finally got an explanation, and it explains why there are Decepticon hunters on this ship in the first place, too. It makes sense for it to be a part of the operation.
and why there's a cadre of fix-its as well.
Why there are so many fix-its, and why although it's still a little confusing as to why a lot of the ones who were over on that side of the ship weren't necessarily in Fix-It's manifest, but that just might have been because the archives were incomplete in the wake of the crash.
Well, we know that something is wrong with the manifest because Saberhorn wasn't in it either. We've come across a few Decepticons that are on Earth that aren't in the manifest. Right. So either it was damaged in the fall, or someone's tampered with it.
It was tampered with.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Which
by shady minicons like Toolbox.
What happened to innocent until proven guilty here? This kangaroo court is terrible.
We started on Prime.
Unbelievable.
Well, no, I'm going to feel real bad now if he really is innocent. I'm going to be like, man, I feel like a jerk.
If he died.
Wow.
Oh,
I know.
What are you doing to me?
I think
again, that's Prime level consequences, and that's what we don't have on the show. The headphones came back.
I still think he's a traitor, but I think that he was forced into it. I don't think he did it of his own accord.
You have no evidence. No evidence.
Optimus was pretty trusting. He wanted to save them all and stop everything else they were doing. He was like, we gotta save them all.
And Optimus's judgment has never been compromised.
Ratchet shows up, you don't think he's a traitor.
Yeah.
Optimus shows up every once in a while, you don't think he's a traitor.
Listen, I'm still...
What do you have against
I'm just
minicons?
I love minicons.
No, let's get into this. What is your problem with minicons?
Traumatized by all of the red-eyed fix-its trying to murder us last season.
So crazy. That's why I think he was
Terminator fix-its? Oh my god!
That's why I think he would be the perfect Decepticon. Because of the fact that he's just this red-eyed killing machine.
He did change
Boy.
Well, that's what happens when brain surgery goes wrong.
I tell you, one minicon does one thing, and it spoils it for all the minicons.
It was like 50 minicons.
He did change Grimlock's Autobot symbol back to Decepticon pretty quickly.
I know.
So he has art skills.
Yeah. That was a really great plot, by the way, of Grimlock bringing them all in and being like, yeah, I caught all these Autobots. My transmission got interrupted.
In the name of Megatron's pistons.
Oh my god!
It took 2 watches and subtitles to pick up on that.
I was gonna say,
wow.
you know what?
Just as pistons.
The
pistons.
Now I take back,
just
I
the
think,
pistons.
my mistrust of Toolbox, because Grim was able to sneak in so easily. I feel like maybe he could sneak out that easily. I don't know.
That's true.
Well, for me, it's just a matter of wondering how much the control collars really do, and whether any of the cons in charge were thinking that many steps ahead. We'll send them a con we'll send them a mini con that looks like theirs, and they'll trust him, and we'll tell him that if he doesn't lead us back, we'll hunt him down and tear him limb from limb. It'll be great.
It could also be that he legitimately escaped, because as we saw when they got onto the ship, there's a lot of infighting in this ship.
Yeah, there is.
Like the island of misfit Decepticons is filled with a bunch of people who don't like each other.
And it doesn't take much.
No.
You know, excuse me, pardon me. Pow!
A funny look, and it's like, that guy looked at me funny.
That's pretty much it.
I'm very happy that Sharkticons run like idiots. It's the best. They have the dumbest run cycles. I love it.
It's so cute. It reminds me of that.
They're not used to running.
That's true.
I know. But that's what makes it great.
It's so adorable.
I love it.
Are we standing up for the Sharkticons here?
Let's
This
see
is
Underbite
Sharkticon
swim,
Squad.
okay?
Yeah. Hey, doggy paddle.
But he ate all of Nuance City. He can do anything.
I'm sorry, I don't recognize
doesn't
it.
have a port anymore. Underbite ate it.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
Terrible.
Grimlock does logic.
That was amazing, by the way, that Grimlock logic when he got asked the question about the train in Nuance City, and he's like, Nuance City is gone.
We keep track of these things.
Yeah.
Well,
That was
also,
very well done.
We haven't seen Viacon since Prime.
Yeah.
And here they are.
Well, and not to mention that Jim Cummings was doing the voice of one of these ones. And he, for anybody who's has been to Universal back in the day when they still did the Terminator 3D show.
T2 3D.
He was basically the voice of Skynet, and so hearing this Sentry guy talk, I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's Jim Cummings' Skynet voice.
Skynet gets around.
Yeah, it's kind of everywhere. That's kind of the point. Yeah.
I love that Viacons are still super easy to wipe out.
Consistency. It was really nice to see those designs come back and like the unique color palettes too.
Yeah.
You guys have been having a lot of fun like brightening things up.
And I noticed this especially since like the interrogation scene with Clamp Down or when it's night and they're all supposedly knocked out. I love that we have the different lights on their bodies and just how they show up and how you can tell it's this person, it's that person, it's that one, just from the light patterns and the silhouette and the eyes.
The eyes were the best
part. Oh my god, Optimus Prime in silhouette in the mist is like, I'm gonna die today.
I liked when Clamp Down completely, because eyes were just roll back and dead.
I love that the scene of him waking up was just on one of his eye stalks and that blinking awake. I'm like, this is very anime for some reason. That's all I could think of.
It was really good. It was very beautifully done.
Oh, yeah, just that whole thing. And then wondering how they got all of that crazy lighting in the middle of broad daylight.
Just for plot.
I think maybe it was more of like his perception of the entire
of what was happening.
That's a good way of doing
That's
that.
how Clamp Down saw the situation, just being surrounded by like 10 bad cops and no good cops.
I mean, you don't know how a crab sees. Maybe that's they do.
Everything's just drama.
More that Clamp Down is just scared of everyone because everyone hates him and it's all his fault.
Oh, Clamp Down.
Yep. Oh, Clamp Down. Right, I think we're kind of hitting the end of things. We've got a few things we need to run through and we're running a little short of time. Is there anything else we didn't mention that we should talk about?
I have qualms with Bumblebee getting in the way of Optimus Prime saying his line. So
we have a new catchphrase this series.
I know.
Transform and roll out is it's no longer a thing.
Yep. It doesn't matter. Don't interrupt. Respect your elders, dang it.
It is really not when your elders promised they would step off and didn't.
No,
not when your elders make really bad tactical decisions right in the middle of battle.
Yeah.
Stop and grab the minicons. Oh, that's a bad idea for more than one reason.
I mean, it does take a lot of ball bearings to interrupt Optimus Prime in the middle of a speech.
That's why I was just like, this is awkward.
That's what happens when you get your voice back after a long.
Right?
That's what we were saying. While we were watching it again, we were like, I guess Optimus isn't used to be talking back.
Yeah. Optimus isn't used to be talking at all.
I think Optimus isn't used to a lot of things. I think this is probably harder on Optimus than it is for anybody else. He's been away. He hasn't seen the growth in Bumblebee and seen them come together as a team and how they respond to Bumblebee. So this is a big deal for him.
Yeah.
It's a new dynamic. It's a very new dynamic between the two of them.
It is, and it's interesting to see Optimus, because I feel like, Optimus is so often just that leader role. And I mean, and one of the things that, that Ratchet recommends to him is like, you'd be a great mentor for anyone in a leadership position, even if they were experienced. I mean, you're Optimus Prime, guys.
And Optimus is like, yeah, but I want to have my cake and eat it too.
And we've seen that as a consistent theme throughout this season. And we were talking about it, and it seems like that seemed to have been the purpose of splitting the teams up, is to sort of have this friction when they all came back together, and to also illustrate how difficult a time Optimus does have to adjusting to the change. Like, especially when he was hurt and he was clearly still the leader because he was refusing to back down from that leadership position, even when he probably should have. So this doesn't come as it sort of comes as a surprise, but at the same time it's like, no, not really, based on what we've seen while they've been away.
Optimus has had a pretty interesting journey this season, and considering he's not in every episode, I think that's been kind of cool, and where it's all going to shake out. Hopefully
he even said, he was now finally back at full energon capacity and everything. So for him, he does want to go step right back into that place.
But what's killing me is that he is aware that he said, no, it's B's team, no, I'm stepping back. And he's aware that he's going back on what he told B and hasn't bothered to actually sit down and hash it out with Bee and avoids the conversation with Ratchet, who is the one person who could be like, Optimus, sit down.
Exactly. It's one thing to say it. It's another thing to put it into practice. And that can be really hard for somebody who's been a leader for eons.
And I do like that Strong Arm was the one that was like, Lieutenant, I think maybe you should just talk to him, hash it out. And he's like, we don't have time for that. I'm like, I agree.
But you need to make time.
Yeah. Well, the problem, I was actually really proud of him for being like, I'll discuss it with him later. We don't have time before the mission right now. I was like, way to keep your ego in check. Like, way to recognize that there were more important things. And then he immediately had to go, puff out his chest and go rev up and roll out everybody. That's why I was just like, oh, you were doing so well.
Well, but then Optimus makes a really bad decision in the field.
Yeah.
Like, I think we can sit back and go, no, you have an objective. And if you put everyone under, if everyone's knocked out, it's going to be real easy to come back and just kind of pick up the mini-con, load them all on Grimlock's back, and walk out.
That's true.
Like, this is not a good time to make the B priority into the A priority.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. So that is my take on the situation.
But Optimus doesn't know these Decepticons.
Yeah, that's true.
He doesn't know this situation. He's coming into it with less knowledge than Bumblebee has.
Yeah.
So,
which is legit why he should let B run the mission.
Yeah.
but he's Optimus.
Yeah.
Well, and he, again, the last instance we saw him when he was alive, it was the end of the war, and then he died, and he spent all of that time training with the Primes, and then went right back into a battle with Satan. And so this is like the first kind of lull he's had since the end of the war.
Sure. Yeah.
So, B had that period of peace. Ratchet had that period of, well, what do I do now?
Getting kicked off of Cybertron.
Everybody had an adjustment period except for Optimus.
Yeah.
So, fair enough, I suppose, but he's got to get with it.
Yeah.
Don't say that about Optimus very often, but he's got to get with it.
Get with the
Get
times,
the program.
Grandpa.
Yeah.
But Optimus's agenda has always been more for the people.
Yes.
Yeah.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
And B is more protective of his team,
Yeah.
his leadership, and his mission. And his mission originally started with Optimus and going to Earth, so he's just still so focused on that.
Yeah.
And Optimus just saw my people. Gotta save y'all.
Kind of a needs of the many, needs of the few situation.
Yeah.
And it's just it's poor prioritization, and I think we are out of time for that. We need to we need to swing into our last little bits. Can you do me a favor? Pull up iTunes.
Sure.
See what we've got going on, and we are going to chat. If there is anything that you think we missed, now's a good time to talk about it, because we've got that minute delay. So
Yay.
we'll hit it at about the right time. But for now, let's talk about iTunes. We give a huge thank you to everyone who has subscribed, left a rating, left a review. You are wonderful human beings. You are part of the reason that we are able to stay on the air as an after show talking about giant robots. Our producers see these reviews and go, yeah, people seem to like this. Let's keep it. So if you leave a review, we read it because we love you and we want to give you a shout out. And it really helps us stick around. So find us on iTunes, leave a review, rate us 5 stars, subscribe, do all of that fun stuff. Tell your friends. I assume your friends all like giant robots. Tell your friends.
If your friends don't like giant robots, get new friends.
Yeah.
No, get your friends into giant robots. That's how you do this.
This is why we're different.
Oh no, people! You haven't seen Prime. Okay, sit down. We're gonna watch the first 5 episodes because you need to see the first 5 episodes of Prime, and then we're gonna. Yes, good, cool. All right, now you're hooked. Let's go. Anything new?
What's the day?
What's today? 8.
Today.
Oh yeah. So
April 29th.
Thank you, watch.
Yeah. Nope. Those are both from last week. Yeah, we had those last week. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So yes, new reviews would be awesome. Our season finale is next week, you guys. So it's gonna be your last chance for a good long while to get on. You look like you have something to say.
Well, I was just gonna say, speaking of last week, because I missed your show, but just giving some shout outs to last week were the daytime Emmys.
Yes.
Did you guys mention it?
Yes, we sure did.
Okay,
Yep.
excellent. So Jeff Bennett won an Emmy for Miralesky, and Frank Welker got his Lifetime Achievement.
Yes.
It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mentioned on the show last week, I knew about Frank Welker's Lifetime Achievement Award because Eric Bauza tweeted a photo of him standing around while he was getting it, holding his baby.
Yeah.
Frank's award was presented by Peter Cullen.
Yeah.
Yes. Freaking cool.
It was a lot of fun.
So great.
I love it.
So good.
I've fought you for years here.
You better give me the next next time.
Does Chad have anything to say? Because we are up against the wire.
Yeah, I know. No,
against the
they were just. We knew what you meant.
Yeah.
No, just mostly just talking about how excited they are for the next one and talk about Grandpa or Grandma, the Ratchet and Grandpa Optimus.
Speaking of the next one, let's swing into predictions.
Yes, real quick.
We talk about what
Fast
we think is going to happen
predictions,
in the
yes.
season finale, and I don't think we're getting to
It's fine.
Sounds
It's
okay.
just
Alexis,
get them
go.
out there.
Oh, I'm still weird about Toolbox. I don't know what's happening with that. Sorry, I know I can't help it. I was hoping that they were going to separate, and then someone would help the mini-cons, and they would handle that. But I didn't realize how many Decepticons were on the actual thing. So
many.
Yes. So I'm mostly hoping for a giant battle and Steeljaw getting his butt kicked. Because
Yes.
it's just
Because
not
he
gonna
has
happen.
it coming.
Yeah, my
completely.
prediction.
He only had himself to blame.
Yeah, I think that they're gonna betray him.
I predict, that Steeljaw is definitely not in control of the situation, and
No.
Glowstrike is 100% in charge.
Yes.
Certainly hope so.
I hope so. Girl power.
I predict that the reason Ratchet is really back is because he's the only one that can rein in Optimus when he's acting.
Being dumb.
Yeah. Yeah. The primes need to be reined in a little bit because, as we've seen, not all the primes really have their priorities in order sometimes. So I feel like he's at one point Bumblebee and Optimus are going to be fighting, and he's going to be like up, and he's going to be the one to set them straight.
Yeah.
Well, we already got I needed that, so I mean, let's go with the other catchphrase.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I think Steeljaw is going straight under the bus.
Yep.
I am also calling a cliffhanger
Oh.
for this. The Proud Season 2 tradition.
No.
Because I'm also predicting Season 3.
Oh, well,
Like I said, I'm putting my eggs in that basket. I'm
All right.
As long as it's not like the season 2 finale of Prime.
like I said,
I
the
don't need that
Proud
in my life.
cliffhanger
Yeah.
tradition.
I don't want to bring that up. Just talk about it.
None of that. None of that.
Oh, that was a
That's
beautiful
okay.
cliffhanger.
Nope,
it was
nope. Honey
evil,
Bunch
but it
is
was
a no.
great.
Yeah.
I'd ask if you guys had predictions, but
I predict the next episode is about 22 minutes long.
all right.
That's a really great prediction.
I like that
Excellent.
one.
Therese, any predictions?
I predict there will be Autobots and Decepticons.
Oh,
I
man.
like that. How
I
about
would've
some
never
mini-cons?
known.
Do you think there would be some mini-cons going on?
I don't know about that. I don't know.
They're all
Minions
traitors.
might
Who
as
cares?
Never trust to fix it.
All right. Denny and Russell on Decepticon Island.
Wow. All right. Will they make it off?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you guys so much for coming.
you.
It
It
was
was fun.
great to have you.
Thanks for having
Any
us.
final comments on the episode?
We hope everybody liked it. We had a great time making it.
Yeah.
We had a blast watching
Yeah.
it.
Good.
It's a lot
I'm
of
glad.
fun to see it again. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Are you guys working on anything that you can talk about? We know that, like, you guys are always super, super busy, but that NDAs, like, kind of prevent that from
Yeah.
happening sometimes.
Yeah, there's a lot of NDA stuff. So yeah,
Perfect.
yes, we're working.
We're
Yay.
That's good to hear.
Good.
We're still doing some post-production, so
Yeah.
Fun.
yeah.
Where can the people find you on social media?
I'm on Twitter at @TByTheSea.
And I'm on Twitter at Sonova, SONNOVA.
Awesome.
Thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you.
Alexis, where can the people find you?
You can find me wrecking it at atorres890. Check out my YouTube channel, youtube.com/ps890.
And I'm Emma Fyffe. You can find me all over the internet at Emma Fyffe, which is my name. You can also catch me on the Sailor Moon Crystal after show here at AfterBuzz TV, and that's on Mondays at the Bob's Burgers after show here along with Alexis, which will be later tonight at 10 o'clock p.m. also on AfterBuzz TV. Follow me on Twitter. I tweet about all the stuff I do.
I'm Megan. You guys can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at @TheMenguin. That's TheMenguin. I also am on a bunch of shows here at AfterBuzz, and I write articles for the movie Chick. That's Chick with 2 Ks. Be sure to check those out.
I'm Katie Cullen. You can find me on Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, YouTube, and at this point, shirt. What is this? I can't remember what shirt is called. T-Public. There it is. At KiaJ, KIAXET. I'm also on Snapchat at Kia Prime. It's all cat pictures at this point. There you go.
Yes.
Guys, we have shirts.
We do.
If you would like a shirt with all the fun little nicknames on it, again, T-Public, I'm getting played off. Do the thing. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you next week for the season finale. As always, rev up and roll out.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you
later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.